welcome into the CHGO White Sox post-game show. Coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, the full CHGO White Sox crew. That is Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber, and you can read his work at allchgo.com. The man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. We're being produced today by Sarah.
I knew we were going to win.
You did know that we were going to win. The White Sox win 5-0. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button because the White Sox shut out the Toronto Blue Jays, tied this series up at 1-1, and we will see the rubber match tomorrow for this series. Very exciting game. A lot to talk about, from Garrett Crochet to Eloy Jimenez scoring a run and then leaving the game. There's a call-up that we'll have to talk about, possibly starting on Wednesday. And then Pedro Grifol must have read your White Sox Weekly newsletter on Monday, and
thanks for the click, Pedro.
And maybe just needed to wait one more day and get you a quote from on Benny. So we got a quote on Benny to talk about as well. Let's get to Garrett Crochet, and honestly, let's start with the game. Let's quit messing around. Garrett Crochet was lovely today. 6 innings pitched. He now has an ERA of 3.75. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 2 hits, 4 Ks, 1 walk. I had Sarah make a game for us, all right? So you two are going to have a little game.
Okay.
We're going to see some blind resumes, and you guys are going to have to pick between either the left resume or the right resume to see which one you'd rather have, okay? So are you ready, Sarah?
Yeah, we're doing it now?
We're going to do it now, if that's cool. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. So here is resume 1 for this game. Would you rather have a 4.02 ERA, a 1.369 whip, 65 innings pitched, 67 hits allowed, 8 home runs, 22 walks to 81 strikeouts? Or resume 2, you got 3.75 ERA, a .953 whip, 57 2/3 innings pitched, 42 hits allowed, 8 home runs given up, 13 Ks to 74 strikeouts. So you're getting less strikeouts.
I know who that guy is.
You know who resume 2 is?
That's Garrett Crochet.
Do you know who resume 1 is?
No.
I would say it's going to be Fetty.
Okay, so let's see resume 1, the reveal. That's just Garrett Crochet at Tennessee. That's the last full season that he had in 2019
when
at Tennessee.
When he was high on Rocky Top.
When he was high on Rocky Top. 18 games for Garrett Crochet in 2019. 6 games started, a 4.02 ERA, a 1.369 whip. And Garrett Crochet so far with the Chicago White Sox in 2024 as a starter, 57 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.75 ERA, and again, a whip under .953. We're busting out the Hitman logo.
Wow.
For Garrett
like
Crochet. He's been so impressive, and I know that we have been having this dialogue for a long time, going all the way back to when you were in Minnesota, and Garrett first said this to the media and you guys then back in 2023, and I laughed, and then we kept talking about it in the offseason. I still continue to laugh, and I didn't really take it serious until he was named opening day starter this year, and he has been phenomenal. And it's crazy just to look at those stats and see how much he has grown and how much he has really just been able to keep his true stuff, transitioning from the bullpen to being a starter.
He's dominated, really. And I think the way that James Fegan recently put it in something he wrote over at Sox Machine was Garrett Crochet is answering every single question about, are you able to do X, Y, Z when it comes to starting at the major league level? And how many questions did we have in the preseason about, well, will Garrett Crochet be able to do this aspect of the game? Will he be able to go deep into games? Will he be able to rack up a bunch of innings and be able to make that start every 5th day? Can he not walk guys? Can he overpower guys with his stuff? Can he, keep that velocity high? The answer to every single question has been yes so far. And yeah, we're not even at the end of May. There's a lot of season left, obviously, but with what he has been able to do in answering every single one of those questions, going from a complete mystery to maybe the best pitcher on the team, is, like you said, very, very impressive. And it's something that I don't think anybody saw coming, But boy, I think Garrett Crochet saw it coming. I mean, I think the attitude has really stood out as well as the performance. And this is a guy who really believes in himself, really believed he could do this job, and now you're seeing him back it up. He didn't just say, I want to be a starting pitcher. He said, I know I can be a starting pitcher. And whether we all were, waiting to see it in action or not, he knew the answer ahead of time, and he has been just fantastic. He was fantastic again tonight. The thing that really jumps out to me about his season, about tonight, the walks. How many times did we watch Dylan Cease, who, by the way, is maybe going to win a Cy Young in the National League this year with the way he's been pitching out in San Diego? How many times did we see him thinking, "Oh, this is as good as pitching in the major leagues gets," even though he's leading the league in walks, even though he's walking all these guys? Garrett Crochet is, I'm not saying he's in Cy Young territory like Cease has been, but he is in All-Star territory, and he ain't walking anybody. So that has been extraordinarily impressive, along with everything else that has been so impressive. He ranks right near the top of the league in strikeouts. Garrett Crochet has been awesome.
Yeah, and the thing is, remember the end of April, he entered the month of May with almost a 6 ERA. And even then, I was like, what he's doing from reliever to starter, still miraculous, what he did. And what he's doing in the month of May, where he's given up 1 earned run. His first start, I think it was versus the St. Louis Cardinals. He's gone 19 straight scoreless innings since that game. So not only is he pitching well as a starter, finding ways not to walk people, but he's getting deeper into games. I think we were talking one of these games, Sean, where Fetty had thrown a game where he had 78 or 80 pitches into the 7th or 8th inning, and Garrett Crochet the next day had only 5. And I was talking about you know what, he needs to find that way to limit the pitches that he's throwing in a game, and less strikeouts, maybe sacrifice those for longer into the game. And today, 6 innings, I think it could have gone a little bit deeper, even though in that 6th inning he was struggling with his control, and so it was a smart move by Pedro when he had 85 pitches for Garrett Crochet. 4 strikeouts, no walks, as you said. Only 2 hits. One was the breakup after 13 straight outs to start the game. Garrett Crochet, and I know people are going to say, well, it's the Toronto Blue Jays, they can't hit. That's a major league team at their home ballpark, and he made them look silly today. So it's very encouraging to see that he knew that he had this in him, and he advocated for himself to get this spot, and the White Sox, to their credit, gave him this spot and has cultivated this player that we see in front of us, because he's got a .39 ERA in the month of May. Does that work?
I don't think it's bad.
Okay.
I think you said 19 straight scoreless innings. I won't scoff
That works
at that.
too?
Yeah,
Okay.
that works as well. KPW saying Sean was right, and that's the only reason why I'm reading this. In last night's postgame show, the Jays' bat speed couldn't do a thing against Crochet's velocity, but I think the funny thing is, again, you talked about it, 13 straight retired without a hit. First hit coming in the 5th inning. Crochet had 13 innings in the first, along with 2 Ks. He had 18 pitches in the second. He hit 99 in the second. 3rd inning, he had 10 pitches, and through the 3rd inning, he had 8 whiffs. So again, not being able to catch up to that bat speed, but as we saw, the 4th inning, 9 pitches. They were able to start making some contact. The 5th inning, 13 pitches for Crochet, allowing his first hit, but the last pitch of that inning, he still had 99 miles per hour. But you could see from the 3rd to the 5th, only 1 more whiff added on for Crochet. He ended with 10 whiffs. So through 3 innings, 8 whiffs, and that stuff was very dominant, very powerful, getting those swings and misses. But it really did see, from the 4th to the 6th, that he was a little bit more refined and a little bit more pitchery, if I can make up a word here. The biggest thing is 4 Ks, 1 walk. He didn't really get overwhelmed or frustrated when guys started swinging and missing, or not swinging and missing, when he wasn't getting those dominant, overpowering results. He still stayed in with batters, and he was able to be very efficient. And like you said, I'm fine with them pulling him after 22 pitches in that 6th inning. His by far the most in any inning of an inning today. But it felt like he started to lose control. It felt like he started getting into more 3-0, 3-2 counts. So I was fine with the pull there, but he just looks incredibly composed, and I don't know who can hit his fastball. His 4-seam fastball seems unhittable, and I know that it seems like Turner hit his cutter for a double, but, 2 out of 18 hitters, what is it, whatever, two hits out of 16 balls in play ain't bad.
Well, and here's the thing, that 6th inning, that was a moment. You saw that, right? they left him in the game to get out of that. You know, I think that if you're talking about not the pitch count but the eye test, Garrett Crochet was going to be done very soon because he had just walked his first batter of the game there, I believe, with 2 outs. And then he's got Vlad Guerrero Jr. up at the plate, who, say what you want about how he's doing this year, he's still Vlad Guerrero Jr., still the best hitter, talented hitter on that Blue Jays lineup. Ethan Katz comes out, and they leave him in the game. And they're like, all right, this is your inning, go get him. Because there's 2 guys on base. I believe it's 3-0 at that time.
Correct.
Vladdy Jr. is the tying run, and he can put one out and tie that game up real quick. Crochet stays in, gets the fly out that he needs. That's the learning moment. That's the trust in the pitcher moment from the White Sox. That's Garrett Crochet getting a confidence boost from having the team trust in him and not make a move there to go to John Brebbia, who was up and probably could have come in. I'm not sure how long he'd been warming at that exact moment, but he was warming. I think that is a big single moment of progress. Obviously, we can look at every single thing that Garrett Crochet has done this game, this month, this season, and be impressed with all of it. But to have the trust of your team to go out there when you're probably done for the day and get that one out that you need to get, that's a big moment right there for a pitcher who, maybe not in his mind still developing, but he is still developing just based on his age and the fact that he hasn't been doing this very long.
And in this game, after the 3rd inning, he went over his career high in innings pitched. So that is another milestone. He did a lot of great things today in this Blue Jays game. I didn't think he would be here, not this early. I was thinking that, this is going to be an experiment. He'll peter out in the sometime in the middle of May, and he'll have to go back to the bullpen or somewhere else. But Garrett Crochet is making fools of most of us because he is at the top of the strikeout lead in the American League, and he is probably, since Eric Faraday's bad start yesterday, probably the White Sox representative for the All-Star if we're judging today.
I feel like we got to slow our roll with this.
Why?
It's May. Well, we'll get to the All-Star game when it gets to the All-Star
Can we
game.
just say it? I mean, what harm does it do?
I feel like we should
you
have
heard from that?
No, but I feel like we should. I never said I was hurt.
I'm
from
saying,
that,
but why would we need to
should-
slow our roll from it?
Well, we should have like maybe like a leaderboard then. Maybe we should have an everyday
tracker?
changing leaderboard, like a golf scoreboard where we physically take down names.
How fun will that be on the majority of days when neither of those 2 guys are pitching?
What?
Well,
How fun will the leaderboard bit be when 3 out of 5 days those guys don't pitch?
Tommy Pham trying to get those wins in those 4 games or the 3 games that they're don't pitching.
And the disrespect to Corey Lee. I mean, Corey Lee's perfect and beautiful, so I don't understand.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
And Herb, you brought up Crochet passing the career high in innings pitched. Now he's at 57 in 2/3 innings pitched. He crossed over that career high after the 3rd inning. He crossed 54 in 2/3 innings pitched. His last time reaching that was 2022 at 54 and a third. He threw over 60 innings pitched in 2 seasons at Tennessee, 63 and 2/3, and then 65 innings pitched. So this is the first time that he's going to approach 60 innings since 2019. And that's just the scary and crazy
When
thing.
he was high on Rocky Top.
When he was high on Rocky
Yeah.
Top.
And no expert here says that what's the harm in there, not remember the previous years. As I was telling Sean, there's nothing I can say that can jinx something out there in the universe. If I had that power, I wouldn't be using it on Garrett Crochet. I'll be using it on the lottery.
What are we talking about?
He says that, I haven't, I've been watching the previous years as if like he's going to get hurt or something or he's going to be bad until the All-Star break.
We just also don't want to put that energy out there. I guess that's the whole thing about the jinx thing. It's even less about, if I can control the universe, I would. It's more just like, it's karma in a way. You think good thoughts, good things happen. You think bad thoughts, bad things happen. You're a good person, good things happen. You're a bad person, bad things happen. You go to prison. You serve your punishment. Bad person.
I'm putting that good energy out there that Garrett Crochet is our All-Star.
I hope so. But hey, maybe we can get greedy. Maybe there's 3 All-Stars. Maybe
Corey
there's
Julks?
Eric Fetty, Corey Julks, maybe another Corey, 2 Corys. Wow. That'd be fun.
Do you realize that
Feldman?
this team has multiple Corys and multiple Dominics?
Dominic Leone.
Leone.
Oh, I forgot about Dominic Leone coming back.
2 Corys, 2 Dominics.
No double Yoan, no double Aloy. No
You're going to go through the whole roster? I just told
double
you.
Andrews.
Yeah, double Andrews.
Just making sure that things aren't missed.
Both our Corys are good. Both our Andrews are terrible. Who would have thought that?
It's not Mike Kopech, right?
Michael.
So it's two Michaels. Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we got a lot of guys. All right. Real quick, we're going to hit a break. 85 pitches for Crochet. The biggest thing, too, again, through all of these starts, now 11 starts for Crochet, the biggest thing that I've been watching is where does his fastball sit? And at least today, and you could flash that stuffed graphic, Sarah, that I sent you in, 52 fastballs today, four-seam fastballs, and he's up 0.4 miles per hour. His cutter, he threw 17 times, down 0.1 miles per hour on his yearly average. So he is really just staying near or even a little bit above that yearly average for his fastball velocity. And I think that's the biggest indicator of if they're worried about him dipping a little bit. I think that's the one thing, too, in the sixth inning where you still see the velocity, but you don't see the same sharpness and location. That's when I would like to see him pulled. And it seemed like that's what really the indicator for them to take Garrett out. So thumbs up, Garrett.
Ethan Katz told me, after that little bit of a rough patch for Garrett that you had mentioned earlier, Herb, that they were seeing his velocity dip a little bit, come the fourth, fifth, sixth inning, stuff like that. But what you've been showing of late has been the opposite, and that seems to be a problem that has been corrected.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 99, and I think he had 299 in the sixth inning. So, I mean, that's been very, very, very good. 10 whiffs on 40 swings for Crochet, 15 called strikes, a called strike plus whiff percentage of 29%. So he's around major league average tonight. And again, he was able to get outs, and that was what was most important through 6 innings. We're going to take a break, and we're going to let you know about our friends over at Game Time, and then we will jump into some Eloy Jimenez talk. I see Stephen Bardo bringing up some Oscar Colas news. So we'll get into it.
Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events that are nearest you. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I just went to the Cubs-Padres game a couple weeks ago, saw a game for probably under $30. I sat right next to the right fielder, so it was right next to Fernando Tatis Jr., and I checked all the rest of the secondary markets. None of them had a lower price than Game Time, and that's what the Game Time guarantee is. If you do find one in a different website with the same row, same section, you get 110% of the difference into your account. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And with all-in prices, show your total up front so you know that you're getting a great deal without any of the hidden fees. And they're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Game Time has deals right up to the start of the event and even an hour after the event starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. And with zone deals, you pick the section, Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Thank you, Herb. And we also want to let you know about our friends over at Circa Sportsbook. My favorite part about Circa Sportsbook is the customer service. There are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots, and all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the beautiful main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. There will be no calling of a 100 toll-free number to hit yes to get a call back to then be put into a queue of 14 people. Circa Sportsbooks will be taking care of you. And plus, they don't limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. And they encourage all bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available so you can compare the lines from each sportsbooks and make sure that you are getting the best line to wager on possible. And since Circa Sportsbook is the world's largest sportsbook and you can have it at your fingertips, you will find that most of, if not all the time, the best lines to bet are over at Circa Sportsbook. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. That's circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. Text GMB to 833-224. Visit AreYouReallyWinning.com. What?
I'm shiny and sweaty. I don't think these two guys are sweaty. I usually wear a hat. I'm gonna get that Pens and Aces hat over there.
I just went with the chrome finish on the head, on the forehead today.
Just looking a little greasy. Is that?
I guess I'm not sweating. That's for sure. Yeah,
you look good.
I'm a
I
sweaty
don't
guy.
know. I feel fine. So
I feel fine.
yeah, but Sarah's
wearing a sweatshirt.
Yeah, right.
It's cold in here now that our AC's fixed.
Finally,
Is
got
it?
AC fixed.
Okay.
Maybe not
I
in
think
B,
so.
but
You got water in there?
I was working out today, so the furnace doesn't turn off easily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Bike riding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Josh Nelson.
The folks can't see under the table. Herb is still working out.
You got a little
Pedaling. Yeah.
And Vinny and I both don't have pants on, so there you go.
Wow.
All right.
Whoa, hey.
Wow.
It's like the old newscaster bit.
Let's not get HR involved, John.
Okay, we don't have HR, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, let's talk on the hitting side, and then we'll get into how Eloy Jimenez was pulled for a pinch hitter. Zach Remillard batted 7th tonight, which I found interesting, and we'll get into why Remillard was in and not Andrew Benintendi. But we did see a sac bunt from your guy, Zach Remillard. I don't know if it was more of a hit because there was a lefty pitcher on the mound, and since he falls towards the third base side, Remillard had like a running charge at it and bunts it up the first base line. Kikuchi was able to field it, but I didn't know if Herb was going to blow up on that one.
I was outside, but I did see it. They did count it as a sac bunt. That's his thing. I guess so. Whatever.
It seemed like he was trying for a hit. That's what I'll say. I'll give Remillard a little bit of credit. But then with the runner on second base, I believe it was Corey Lee, Nicky Lopez comes up, hits a single into left field. Davis Schneider, the left fielder of Toronto, throws a ball home as Corey Lee's charging home. Danny Jansen picks it up a little bit more closer to the third base dugout side and a little in front of home plate. Corey Lee cuts towards the pitcher's mound and slides inside. Both of your reaction was out.
I thought he got him.
I thought he got him too.
Yeah.
Did you still feel that way? Were you surprised Toronto didn't challenge?
I'm still shocked that they didn't challenge. Maybe there was early in the game, they're like, we don't want to waste a challenge here where we don't have 100% confidence that this guy is out. So I was surprised that they didn't challenge, but, I saw what I saw in live action. I was like, he's out, and the umpire called him safe. So I was like, baby, let's take that.
Yeah, I did see the replay. I think what happened was Corey touched the plate first, and then like the extended arm behind Corey was blocked. So I think we saw like, oh, he probably swiped him, but I think Corey might have just been in front of the tag. I mean,
Ump had a much better view than I did. So
Sox take the 1-0 lead. In the fourth inning, Corey jolks and was gonna screw it up. Took a 7-pitch walk, which was nice to see. And then we saw Corey steal a base as well. There was the tried Corey and Corey hit and run, which I was excited for, but they weren't able to pull it off. But Julks did steal second base. Jansen couldn't get the transfer over. Mendick had an infield single, and there was a great play by Ernie Clement to save it from being a double.
Big earn.
That would have been a scoring chance for the White Sox, but the runners were stranded at first and third because Lopez couldn't drive in those runners. And then Eloy, I get upset with him, and you and I get upset with him because he works a 3-0 count after Andrew Vaughn gets walked, and this is in the fifth inning. He doesn't swing 3-0 at a fastball at the knees. He doesn't swing 3-1 at a fastball in the outside corner, and we're like, what are you waiting for? He was waiting for another fastball.
He gets a fastball. He crushed.
He gets a fastball high in the zone, hits it into the gap for a double. 110 off the bat for Eloy. Runners are at second and third as Vaughn doesn't chug around third base to score home. The White Sox get in a little bit of a tricky situation. DeYoung strikes out, but then our main man, Corey Julks, a 2-run single, makes it 3-0 for the Sox. But as Eloy is charging around third base, it seems like he comes up limp. We hear first John Schriffen say, "Oh, no," because they're following the ball in center field, and we're just like, oh God, what's happening? Like we're just picturing
the camera is following the ball, right? Yeah,
and
we couldn't see Eloy limping around third base.
We're just expecting the cut to be Eloy dead at home plate.
I expected more like Eloy didn't get waved home, even though that ball was it was well within reach of a guy from second to get home. I was like, okay, did Eloy not get home somehow? That's how he sounded. And then when I saw the play, I was like, it's Eloy. So what can you do? And I know people are going to get their jokes off and need to stretch and do yoga, blah, blah, blah. It's even though he gets hurt a lot, still it is a sad thing that he gets hurt a lot because I'm sure he's doing the things that you guys suggest he do. And then he still gets hurt.
I think the main thing is that he's doing the things that the White Sox training staff suggests he do, and they are professional athletic trainers, and I'm guessing most of White Sox fandom are not. But listen, it's you cannot avoid this. I mean, it's well more than a trend now, right? It's just the guy can't run the bases without injuring himself. Before, the line was he can't play the outfield without injuring himself. That kind of went away because they stopped playing him in the outfield so much.
Well,
you can't stop making him run the bases.
Correct.
You can't get a first inning double and then take the guy out for a pinch runner right away. I mean, it's a shame because listen, the guy's hitting the hell out of the ball right now. Not necessarily from a result standpoint, but like literally from a hitting the ball very hard standpoint. He's doing a good job. Here it is again. Eloy Jimenez. We'll see the severity. It might have just been a thing that knocks him out of the game or for a few games, but here you can add this to the list of base running injuries for a guy who has had a lot of base running injuries.
Just real quick, where did he play on Sunday?
Right field.
Yeah. So I mean, again, like
He was fine out there.
I know, but
Pretty smooth.
Just still, it seems like they're getting real confident in how healthy he was and how good he was feeling. And
He's getting covered. He's stealing bases.
I know, and I'm just saying, like again, like we're seeing it again. So why is he doing things like that if he's not?
But he didn't get hurt playing right field. He didn't get hurt stealing bases. He
Right,
got
but,
hurt
like,
scoring from second on a base hit.
But I'm saying like it's not possible that on Sunday he comes up limp after stealing second base. It seems like a running issue.
But do you think that he has a certain amount of bullets that he wasted them in right field out there or stealing second base a couple times? I just think it's just he gets hurt. Like Mark Pryor couldn't pitch after his Cub career because he just gets hurt. Like these are sad things. His current coach right now, Grady Sizemore, got hurt a lot. Do you think that these guys want to get hurt? Like sometimes it's just a tragic thing. Brandon Roy. Like these things happen, and those people are bigger.
Brandon Roy like tore his ACL consistently. Like he had like he was born poorly.
I had a pair of Brandon Roy shoes
That's
in
sick.
college.
That's sick.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why?
Basketball shoes.
And
I
like-
think they were on sale, and I was like, Brandon Roy shoes, let's go. Had a big number 7 on the side. They were wild.
Grady had a microfracture in his knee. Like, I mean, this isn't
Yes.
even like microfractures. This isn't even big injuries. This isn't torn ACLs. I think what was the one in Minnesota that he had? That was, I think, the most significant injury.
Yeah, that was,
Tore.
I guess
something.
it was hamstring. It was a little higher than that, I think, but yeah.
This seems like another pulled hamstring. Like, this isn't like a tragic injury. This is just the same minor crap that keeps happening over and over again.
Right.
I know, but like this is, I don't think this is comparable to Sizemore or Brandon Roy because
People
those
just
guys
get hurt. I'm just saying, people
like,
get hurt.
Those guys got severely hurt. This guy's just getting nicked and bumped.
I mean, he's had severe injuries too.
Yeah.
He's missed months, multiple seasons. Again, one of those was self-inflicted. But, I get what you're saying, Sean, and it is different. You're right. This isn't just a guy. But that isn't bad. I mean, it's all bad luck, but it's a different kind of luck. I think you're right. I mean, this is a guy who is proving, he already proved that he cannot be, let's put it this way, he cannot be relied upon to play the outfield without his health being in jeopardy. Correct. Now, he's getting to the point where he is proving that he cannot be relied upon to run the bases without his health being in jeopardy. It would be a thing where we've now moved from the point of like, you see the injury and you go, oh, here, you get a text that says, oh, here we go again. And it's to the point where it's like, if he gets a hit, aren't you sitting, as a fan, aren't you sitting there like, oh boy, don't hurt yourself, even though this is just your job description to go out there and get a hit and run the bases. But it's tough. It's tough to see because I know the type of guy that he is, and I know the type of desire he has to be an all-around player. And the dude's athletic. I don't think anybody's doubting that he's athletic. It's just, like I said, it's gotten to the point where there are parts of the game that he badly wants to play, then badly wants to succeed at, that he cannot be relied upon to do, with the fear being that he can't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I agree with. Like, I don't know what the regimen is, but I'm sure he's a professional and he sees all these things happening to him. I'm sure, as Vinny said, the training staff puts him through his paces so that things can't happen again, but it keeps on happening. Like, that was a simple turn at third, touch the bag, and then it's gone. The hamstring, you could tell, catches up with him. He finds a way to get home, but these things are just, that's what he is. And I remember Rick Hahn kind of scoffing at the injury-prone thing. He's injury-prone. It's not necessarily his fault that he's injury-prone. He is. That's what he is.
Same injury, I believe, same play that happened in 2020 in Cleveland. Is that right? Round in third base.
Yeah.
Trying to score from I think he might have been trying to score from first on that game, but he's rounding third base. He ends up scoring, but I believe that's what hurt his leg there in that last week of that regular season, and then he's unable to play in anything but I believe one at bat in the third game of that playoff series against Oakland, in which it proved he wasn't healthy enough to play. So he's done this before. He's done it a lot. Did it earlier this year, running the bases. It's tough to see. Tough for that guy. Tough for that player.
Yeah, hit a double. That's the enigma of Eloy Jimenez in that game, in the game 3 you're talking about versus Oakland. Hit a rocket double off the wall, struggled to get the second, got the second. They took him out of the game because he wasn't well enough to play that game after that. This is his life. I mean, and this will be the end of his White Sox career after this year, more than likely, because as Vinny says, they can't trust him to be just a regular player, to have health all the way through. And we're watching the play right here with Sean, what you were referencing versus Cleveland, and yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah, well, and Herb, you bring up the contract situation, and it's not the fact that they can't trust him, which is why he won't be back. Right, he won't be back because of his salary and the contract option getting more expensive than it currently is now. The point is, though, that because of the health and because of the lack of health, he has not been able to be on the field long enough to convince the White Sox that it would be worth it and behoove them to pick up that contract option. And again, it's tough for the team who thought that they were going to be probably getting a deal on that when they signed this guy before he even played in a Major League Baseball game. It's tough for the player who expected to be producing well above that pay rate, kind to use a for lack of a better term, and now he doesn't even get the chance to convince them. The White Sox are in a different place. Even if he had a great year, they probably wouldn't be picking that up just because of what they're doing from a rebuilding standpoint. But again, he doesn't even his lack of health robs him of the opportunity to even prove that he's worth that kind of money.
Late September 2020, Nomar Mazara hits a single into left field. Eloy's on second. Abreu scores. And this one seems a little bit different, and I guess this is the thing. It's not even the same thing. It's not caused by him touching third base, because it seems like the actual turn at third was fine. It seemed like it was more the slide at home that hurt him, and it's not a hamstring that time. It's a foot sprain. So it's like, and I think it was a right foot sprain, not a left one. So it's just continually getting hurt running the bases. And earlier this season, it was running to first.
And that was an adductor.
Right.
That's not even the hamstring, which he had early last season.
Thank you, Dr. Duber. Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating. And I'm not even saying that, like, he's a bust or yada, 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 or whatever. It's just, it is frustrating that it continually happens with this player. It's frustrating because obviously the White Sox have some sort of reliance on him. They had the extension that they gave him. There were high hopes for Eloy. But even then, like, we heard so much about the batting stance change. He seemed very confident at spring training, and I was like, 41 homers. It's just, I fall into the trap so easy. And it's just frustrating that, the trap is actually, he's going to be hurt. So let's take a break. We'll let you know about our friends over at Salerno's Pizza and Ray Chevy. I'm not sure if Oscar Colas is coming up. I saw that in the chat, but I have not been able to confirm that. So right now, I would not say Oscar Colas is on his way up.
Just people playing hug watch, it looks like. Yeah.
We need more time to figure out. No word from the White Sox outside of left hamstring strain.
Right. You people like pizza.
Yes.
So stop by Salerno's on Tap, located at 1201 West Grand Avenue in Chicago's West Town neighborhood, and enjoy their tavern-style pizza and some ice-cold beers, because what goes better with pizza than beers? What are you doing, Sean?
He's getting Salerno's pizza box.
He's getting the pizza. All right. Well, there you go. Good job. Whether you are heading to the game, whether you want to watch the game live on the big screen TV, or whether you're just watching from home and you're a little peckish, they've got you covered. Go ahead and go to Salerno'sPizza.com or call 312-666-3444. Mention CHGO. And guys, I still can't even believe this. Mention CHGO. You get half off your pizza.
Half?
Now, that does not mean that they're taking that pizza cutter, cutting the pizza in half, and throwing it out in the street and only giving you half because they don't like us very much. Quite the opposite. They like us so much that they're going to take the pizza cutter, cut your dollar in half, give you the other half of that dollar back, and then you get the full pizza on top of it. It's just amazing.
I don't think that's how exactly works.
No, it is.
Okay.
I've been over there. They're wielding pizza cutters to cut currency in half. You should see what they can do to a silver dollar. Head to Salerno'sPizza.com or call 312-666-3444 for more information. And just remember, you mention CHGO, you get half off of that delicious pizza.
If I bring in a $2 bill, do they give me two $1 bills?
No, they cut the $2 bill in half, and you get the half of the $2 bill.
I have to go see it in person. We want to let you know about our friends over at Ray Chevy. Make Ray Chevrolet your first draft pick for your new Chevy this May. Visit our partner to shop their Memorial Day sales event going on all month long at Ray Chevy on Route 12 in Fox Lake and at raychevrolet.com. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, you could find the perfect tailgating vehicles. Right now, get $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2024 Chevy Silverado or lease a new 2024 Chevy Trax for only $199 a month for 36 months. Or celebrate Memorial Day your way and shop over 125 of their vehicles priced under $20,000. And if you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, then you've also heard of the Ray's Price Promise. Their guarantee to make your next vehicle more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever. That means the incredible prices we're talking about now, you can expect to see the very same when you shop Ray Chevrolet in store or online. So shop the Memorial Day sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. You can also mention CHGO online or at the service center for a free oil change. So thank you to our friends over at Ray. We also, bringing up Memorial Day, want to let you know about the takeover that's happening on May 27th at 1:10 p.m. We are still figuring out the bar for the pregame festivities. We are narrowing it down, but it should be around 33rd Street from what we understand. You can go buy tickets right now, allchgo.com/events. I think we have 6 tickets left, something like that, 6 or 5 tickets left. So if you do want to make it out to our first takeover of the year, go check out the link in the description, allchgo.com/events. And again, if you are a diehard, you get a ton of perks. You get a shirt of your choice when you sign up. You get percent off merch. You get a percent off events like the one that we're talking about now, and you get access to our CHGO lounge where you get to chat with White Sox diehards, Bears diehards, Bulls diehards, Blackhawks diehards alike, and it's a very, very fun time. So if you haven't checked out the takeover yet, you got about 6 more days to get your ticket and join us at the ballpark on Memorial Day. I think Colas makes sense. I know obviously it hasn't been confirmed. People are watching Hug Watch right now. I think it makes sense because he's on the 40-man roster, but the one thing Brad Keller DFA'd, Dominic Leone was already on the 40-man roster. They do have a 40-man spot, so I mean, it would be surprising for them to get if...
I don't believe that's true. There was another move that day. What was it?
Let's think. Noah Schultz and Jacob Gonzalez were moved around.
Keller,
Leone. Corey was added to the 40.
Corey Julks was acquired.
Well, but then Keller was taken off.
Let me go look. I'll go look.
I'm pretty sure they're at 39. But my point is, if it's not Colas, maybe they look to sign another player. Maybe Brett Phillips may finally fulfills your prophecy of being the starting right fielder.
I'm really good. I will be happy to be wrong on that thing. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of bringing Colas up again because he's not going to get a lot of playing time up here in the major leagues. It'd mostly be pinch hitting / defensive replacement as Dominic Fletcher has been getting a lot of that lately. So I want Colas to play. So when he ever gets here or in AAA, play. Just get all the time you can. And when get him up here, he's playing in the lineup all the time, not just sitting on the bench and doing nothing, not getting better. So, yeah, I wish that they bring up Colas to play, but we know they already have a logjam out there at right field, and so he'll probably be on the short end of that stick.
I count to 39.
You count 39? I'm just wrong?
I mean, because I don't want to say you're wrong. I also didn't know Braden Shoemaker was in the minors. But, yeah, I think it's 39 because I took off all the guys on the 60-day IL, so no Stassi, Moncada, Schultens, Lambert, Foster, Drohan. But, I mean, I still counted Luis.
Yeah.
I think it's still 39.
You're right. I think you're right.
So, I don't know. Maybe they look to add somebody. It would have to be a bat from what I assume.
Here's what we do know.
To be maxed out on pitchers. Nick
Nestrini's coming up tomorrow because he's going to pitch in Toronto. He's going to make the start there. Mike Clevenger's getting pushed back to the series opener against the Baltimore Orioles on Thursday. Then you would imagine we will see Chris Flexen on Friday. And then back to Fetty and Crochet for the last 2 of that series over the weekend.
So I mean, not super surprising because Nestrini's already on the 40-man. I know there was some rumblings of, since there was a 40-man spot open, and Kevin brings it up, maybe Drew Thorpe. I think Nestrini makes the most sense. He was the one that seemed to be most MLB ready before the season. I know the results in Charlotte haven't been great so far, but, 1 out of 2 MLB starts ain't bad. I'm excited to see another start from him.
Yeah, me too. And if he does come up, I think his first 2 scheduled starts will be versus the Toronto Blue Jays. So this start tomorrow and then the Monday start, which will be at the takeover on Monday. So it's a pretty nice way to reintroduce yourself to the major leagues, with Toronto being, I think, the 29th team in offense, and I think the White Sox are the 30th. So it's a nice way to just say, okay, kid, relax. This is not a team that's going to bludgeon you if you don't make mistakes. This is a way that you can get a nice soft landing into your major league career for the second time, and you can perform and don't have to worry about being sent down, because we've already done that for you. And the fact that you're back up here is a testament to what you've been doing down there in AAA, even though the numbers don't say so. I think he's got a 6+ ERA, but you got to take that with a grain of salt because of where he plays in Charlotte. And so, yeah, I'm glad that he's back up here getting these starts instead of Michael Soroka, because you could see that's not going to get better as a starting rotation. Now, he might be a good reliever, because we saw that first time he did pitch, 7 strikeouts, only 4 walks, and looked a little bit better, and he miles per hour went up a little bit more. So if that is the role that Michael Soroka needs to play, cool, because I've seen enough from him being a starter, because this is going to be his last year as a White Sox. Might as well have Nick Nestrini, and then followed by Jonathan Cannon, and then followed by Drew Thorpe back up here in the Major League team.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Eloy. I mean, I don't believe they've said that there's any idea that he would go on the IL, but again, there might be. So I don't think they need another outfielder up here, that's for sure. But I guess the idea would be you'd bring up somebody to take regular DH at bats. I don't know. I think you just see a lot more Corey Lee and Martin Maldonado playing in the same game. I think you probably see Gavin Sheets mostly then be a DH instead of the right fielder that he has been when they're facing right-handed pitching. If it comes to a left-handed pitcher, maybe you'd see something else. But I think they would probably be bringing up just a guy to sit on the bench like Dominic Fletcher has been. That would be my thought. Yeah.
I guess that's the one thing, too, is right now you're currently not even seeing playing time for Dominic Fletcher, and we're seeing Zach Remillard in the starting lineup. So let's start there, and then we'll get into the Andrew Benintendi quote, because we see Zach Remillard starting today for the White Sox, batting 7th and playing in left field. I think
and Corey Julks starting in right field, too.
And Corey
he just
Julks
got here.
starting in right field. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong or if you have a different view, but Remillard's play, I believe it was on Saturday, where he's on third base and just gets picked off. Sunday. Yeah. He gets picked off. I don't think that would fly if that was last year's Oscar Colas. I don't know if I'm wrong, and I don't understand why Remillard's getting the second opportunity after making a play like that to even start in this game. And we're talking about a 31-year-old that's been DFA'd by the White Sox plenty of times, and the only reason why he's still a White Sox is because nobody in Major League Baseball has interest in rostering him, because he's a journeyman who plays every single position below average, and he's not a guy that ever tries to uncork one with the bat. We see him try to bunt for a single earlier today. I mean, he's not a menacing presence in the lineup. Oscar Colas is a guy that has eye-popping bat speed. It's only one swing, but it was basically a fast swing. I'd be interested in that athletic background, and he was the starting right fielder for the Sox in 2023. Zach Remillard, I didn't even know he was on the Sox in 2023. I learned about Zach Remillard once he was called up to the White Sox for that Mariners series. And then we all learned about Zach Remillard in the Hallmark movie. But I don't know. I think if you're not going to be playing Andrew Benintendi and you're choosing to play, and not playing Dominic Fletcher, and you're choosing to play Zach Remillard, I think that's a mistake there, and let's call up Colas and see what he has, or bring up Braden Shoemake again and get funky with it. But like I'm good on Zach Remillard.
I know what you're saying on the Remillard play at Yankee Stadium. I saw that more as a great play by Trevino than a bad play by Remillard. Yes, he should have been aware that a ball can be thrown from the catcher back to third base, but he deked him, kind of asking for the first baseman's help or the first base umpire's help for the check swing. And then while he was doing that, throwing the ball down to third base and getting him by an eyelash. And then Zach Remillard finds out a little too late before he gets tagged. And so, yeah, I didn't necessarily think that was a boneheaded boneheaded play by Zach Remillard. He could have hustled a little bit more. But yes, if that's Oscar Colas, I 100% guarantee that there's some belly aching there because of all the other stuff that he's done, and just put that on a pile of boneheaded mistakes by Oscar Colas. I think that's the only one I've seen from Zach Remillard, so I'll give him a little grace. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, he's a 31-year-old guy that really is not going to be doing anything for this Major League club or any other Major League club. And when he does do stuff for the White Sox, it's not that great. It's fine. It's all right or below average. So, yeah, I'm with you right there. If you're going to have a player up here getting playing time, if it's Zach Remillard or Oscar Colas, I'm 100% going Oscar Colas every time.
I was wrong. He's 30. So not to age him, he's not 31. He's 30. And I know that, if anyone was calling me 27 or whatever the hell I am instead of 26.
So he's still in his prime.
He's still in his prime is exactly what I was saying. But with Remillard playing, we did get this quote from Pedro, and this was then in Chance, a Benintendi quote. Quote, I'm playing Remillard because it's a better matchup versus Kikuchi. It gives Benintendi time to get some work in and see if he can get going. I'm not going to feed you BS.
I mean, it's Pedro Grifol telling you basically Andrew Benintendi's not playing well enough right now to be in that lineup every day, and that's basically what we've seen, right? We've seen a guy who is here to be an everyday player, here to play 162 games, as close to it as he can, get that playing time dialed back lately. And there's multiple factors for it, but the number one is that he's hitting under 200. He is having a terrible season so far. I'll be the first person to tell you that. On top of it, there's some guys that are helping this White Sox team that play that same position and that have earned a little bit more opportunity. I mean, Corey Jokes has only played 3 games so far, but I mean, he's doing that kind of thing. He's working his way in there. Tommy Pham is another one, obviously, who's been excellent since he's come to the White Sox. So there's a few different forces working there, but Benintendi's not playing very well, and they're trying to get him going, and keeping him in there hasn't worked. Moving him in the order hasn't worked. Maybe sitting him down every once in a while will work. I think when it comes to Remillard, you guys are, I would agree that Oscar Colas does more for you in the long term than, or at least learning about Oscar Colas does more for you in the long term if you're the White Sox. But I also know that Zach Remillard, despite what happened on Sunday, which you guys are talking about, is a guy who Pedro trusts to do all those little things that he wants to see on a baseball field. He's a guy that will go out there and lay down a good bunt as he did today. He's a guy who will go out there and make the defensive and base running plays that Pedro wants to see. Plus, you get some defensive versatility on top of it. Again, I'm not arguing that they need to be playing Zach Remillard every day, but I think there's if you're asking why is he here, I think Pedro would probably give you those types of reasons. But I would agree that Oscar Colas having that playing time is more helpful to the White Sox in the long term, and perhaps in the short term if he has gone down to AAA and figured things out from an offensive standpoint.
And Sean, with that quote, Pedro talking about the matchup with Kikuchi and Benintendi, we went over it the other day where Paul DeJong doesn't hit lefties at all well. And so, if we're being consistent, Pedro, why have Paul DeJong in the lineup? He went 0-4.
Yeah, but who is he going to put in?
Zach Remillard.
Remillard's in left field.
Well, right. That's what Herb's saying.
But
no, but right. I don't know the other
That's probably.
I guess it's not a good sign for Benintendi that Paul DeJong was chosen over him.
Yeah, and then you having Zach Remillard, where if I'm Andrew Benintendi, I'm feeling embarrassed that they're having a guy who doesn't play the position just because he's a right-handed hitter take my at-bats for me, and it's so embarrassing. I'm supposed to be playing every day, and yes, he's struggling, so he should be sitting on the bench, and I applaud Pedro for doing it today, and I hope he does it multiple other times during the year if he doesn't see any progress. But yeah, this should wake Andrew Benintendi up if he has anything to wake up from, and he can be that guy that he was before he got here, because if a 30-year-old journeyman is taking your spot and playing because of your left-handedness, that's piss poor. That's bad. You should feel some sort of hit to your pride that Zach Remillard's playing over you. Like, if Corey Jokes playing over you, it's like, hey, that man's playing well. He's good. But Zach Remillard, you see him like, that man's playing over you? Man, you got to feel some sort of way.
Well, both guys just got here, and both guys were in the minor leagues. I mean, not too long ago. So I don't even know. I mean, if you're getting paid $17 million, I think that you should feel embarrassed. And plus, too, again, like I don't know if it's Kikuchi and something certain about his mix that gives Benintendi trouble. But last year, Benintendi was one of the best players on the White Sox against left-handed pitching, according to the players' total OPS plus. He was at 111 versus lefties, and then according to the league versus lefties, he was at 96. So he's pretty much average versus lefties last year. It's not like he was struggling against lefties. So, I mean, I don't really get this. I mean, he's struggling in general and overall, but for Zach Remillard,
that's got to be tough.
I mean,
making that type of mistake on Sunday, I mean, they're both around 29 and 30. One guy's getting paid 5 years, $75 million. The other guy's getting DFA'd and setting up down between Charlotte and the White Sox each and every week, it seems like. It's just sad. It's very, very sad that this is the spot that the White Sox largest free agent signing has gotten to.
And maybe he's sending a message specifically because putting Zach Remillard out there, you have to feel some way. So I hope Pedro is sending a message, if not specifically saying to Andrew Benintendi, you're not playing well, and you will sit sometimes because of that.
Well, I mean, you talk to him, and you have the White Sox Weekly article that diehards can go read up at allchgo.com. Did you get the sense of more like frustration from Benny, maybe bewildered, or did you get some embarrassing vibes or embarrassed tones?
I mean,
Benny?
I think the thing that it's often a compliment to these guys that they stay even keeled, right? I mean, they always say you can't get too high when you're doing good and you can't get too low when you're doing bad. I mean, I filled you guys in about Andrew Vaughn through the first month of the season, how basically you talk to him when he's barely hitting 100, he's the same as when after he hits 2 homers in a game. I think Benintendi was the same way from a emotion standpoint, and I think that that's to his credit. But the words that he said were expressing frustration. The words that he said was expressing, boy, I really hope this turns around in a hurry kind of thing. I think that the words that he was saying showed that this is a guy who is having this weigh on his mind a little bit more than it has, or at least than it did last year, or that it has in the past. I mean, he is a veteran. He's been around the block, and he knows He knows when things aren't going well and when things can snap back and stuff like that. He was certainly unhappy when you talked to him about his performance last year, and this is much worse. So obviously he is unhappy. He's frustrated. But if he decides to, just pout about it, I don't think he thinks that's going to work, and that's probably a good thought because it probably wouldn't work.
I tried telling y'all that whole wrist thing was an excuse. I mean,
he did have an injury.
No, I know he did, but also he just sucks. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I don't need to rehash it. I know I'm just driving you guys to drink.
No, I mean, I don't think in your wildest dreams when you saw that the White Sox signed Andrew Benintendi that he would be this.
No, I didn't think he'd be cuttable by year 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is I don't think that the White Sox would eat that type of money. But again, if you are...
What team would?
Yeah, right. Well...
3 years?
The Yankees.
3.5 years?
Yankees.
I wonder what the most amount of money has been eaten up.
Well, it's
I guess
Chris Davis, right?
Bonilla.
Oh, Chris, like 70.
By the Orioles, right?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
He was hella bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They said like years left.
Yeah, I'll look that up. I mean, it feels like it's Chris Davis bad at this point, and even then, I mean, Chris Davis probably still has more homers than Benny. No, he had 0 homers at that point in 2020. 6 hits and 52 at bats. A 115 batting average for Chris Davis before he was cut in 2020. Yikes. All right. Did he end up playing at all? When was he cut? He announced his retirement. So he was owed $17 million in deferred salary for the 2022 season, as well as $42 million in deferred payments from his 2016 contract. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. The White Sox might have to eat that. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. The White Sox win 5-0 in Toronto. They have a 1-1 series with the Blue Jays right now. We will see the rubber match tomorrow. It's Nick Nastrini versus Chris Bassett. Thank you to Sarah for producing the show. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button as well after a White Sox loss. The man with the very long thumbs is Vinnie Duber. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber. He's
you said the White Sox lost. They didn't. They won.
They won.
Yeah.
They won, Sean.
They won.
It's a natural reflex.
My bad. 5-0. The White Sox Win. There we go.
Well, Steven Strasburg will be the guy. They still owe him almost $60 million.
But he retired.
But they're
so
still
did Davis.
They're still going through like a whole thing.
Right, but that's what. Well, yeah, but they got rid of him first, didn't they?
Steven Strasburg's still on the roster.
Yeah.
They still got to pay him almost $70 million. And he won't pitch ever again.
Yeah,
We'll get to this. We'll bring this up later.
It doesn't say that he was DFA'd at any point
Okay.
by the Orioles, so it just says that he retired. Anyways, that's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Ectorwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow after the Blue Jays White Sox game. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.